Welcome to episode 41 of the Ben Briggs podcast. I am Ben Briggs. It's Tuesday, people. Tuesday, the 24th of September, 2019. And it's a bit of a shit one here today. Summer's over, as John Wayne said in The Cowboys. Proper good film, by the way. I'll get to cowboy films in a minute. But if you've never watched The Cowboys starring John Wayne, it is one of the best fucking films out there. Particularly if you like children being killed in cowboy films. It started bleak. This episode already. Summer's over here. It is fucking lashing it, pissing it, shitting it, whatever in it, down outside at the moment. There's a little bit outside Briggs Towers here that's sort of like cut out that allows all of the rainwater to go away because this place was built on floodplains, and it filters all the rainwater away down like a little gully. It's more than a gully, but it's like a fucking ditch. Imagine living in a First World War trench in front of your flat. That's exactly what I do. And that is like a fucking river at the minute. So it's been fucking raining hard like the last 24 hours here. And summer is definitely over. We had the last brief glimpse of summer last week. And now that's over, people. Over. But apart from that, it's all right. I've got to, it is at the minute about 20 past 3. I'm meant to be leaving at about 4 o'clock to get to Swansea. Swansea, there's lovely. Swansea in Wales tonight. I know. Doing the proper UK this week. UK, England, Scotland, Wales. No Northern Ireland. Wales this week, so tonight. So I've got to get a bit of a fucking wriggle on, Sam. Innit? You need to get a fucking wriggle on, son. I do. But I'm closing. Who knows what it's called these days? What the rules are? Yes, I'm closing that gig. Headlining? I don't know. Closing. Tonight. So I've got to be there, hopefully get there. It says 3.5 hours, but it ain't going to be 3.5 hours because I'll be going straight through the fucking rush hour traffic. And, so it's going to be an extra hour on that. It's going to be like at least 4.5, I think. And if I leave about 4 o'clock and get there about 8:30. So, I'm fucking, people, up against it, as they say, because I had to have stitches out my fucking neck. What you done this time, Ben? I had to have a lump chopped out of my neck the other week, and had to have the fucking stitches out today, which was literally a 2-second job. I could have fucking done it myself, but I didn't want to trust myself, so I got a nice scar on my neck. I look like Frankenstein's monster after having the bolts fucking removed from his neck at the minute. The cheeky fucker, when I had that done, right, the woman doctor, Ben, it's 2019, Ben, calm down. The female doctor, she looked female, she may not be female, may not associate as a female, but she looked feminine. She said, "Oh, it's all right. The scar will just naturally go in with your with the wrinkles on your neck." So that was fucking cheeky cunt. So that was nice. Essentially, she was saying I could have my face slashed up and still look pretty much the same as I do now. We'll just stitch it into your fucking creases. Dear. So that was that. Somebody else said they said that to him as well. Somebody else had something removed from their head and said it would. The doctor said exactly the same thing. I don't know whether that's a regular thing that doctors do now. You just go in there and they tell you you're fucking aging. Maybe you get over 40 and that's it. They just go, look, they're just preparing you for later on when you're coming back with something age-related that's horrendous. So that was that. Last time I spoke to you was Saturday when I was just going to Letchworth Emporium, Letchworth Spa Town. Now, I've been to Leamington Spa Town, and Leamington is fucking beautiful. Letchworth is a very different place to Leamington Spa. It's a little bit rougher, people. It's like a spa town and somebody's pissed in the fucking spa. Somebody's just fucking urinated into the spa as everybody else is there. But it was quite a nice little gig. I was closing that one. Closing that one as well on Saturday night. There wasn't too many people there, but it was quite a lot of fun. That was for the Glass Eye Comedy Boys. That I don't know why I'm saying that in an American accent. Yeah, it was basically sort of like a do no material gig and just try and fucking get away with it. And it was quite a good laugh, actually, mainly made up by some geezer in the audience called Manco. This is a geezer, right? He's like the local character of Letchworth, I think. He's like everybody knows him. Deep down, I imagine he's got some undealt with fucking trauma, why he needs to be the way he is. But he was a fucking... I thought he was a bit of a prick when I first... You know, when you meet people for the first time and you think, oh, fucking hell, this geezer's a bit of a fucking prick. But he turned out to be quite sweet and quite a nice guy, to be honest. And I actually quite liked him by the end of it. But it was like a rockabilly fucking, I forget what he called himself, a rockabilly teddy boy. There was something else thrown in there as well. He had a real niche sort of like market of music that he listened to. But he had the old fucking quiff hairstyle and fucking big soled shoes on. And fucking that rockabilly look from the fucking 60s. Is it 60s, 50s? 50s Teddy Boys, isn't it? 1950s Teddy Boys. So he had that. So he must have been about 60 odd, something like that. Tattoos all over his fucking hands, like that. He had his own name tattooed, Manco. But that wasn't his actual real name. What he did, he took that from the Clint Eastwood spaghetti western films. The man with no name only had a name in one of the films. If you've never seen them films, by the way, I was talking about this on Saturday, you're a fucking joke off. You need to. They're three of the best fucking films you'll ever see. Fistful of Dollars is quite good. It's quite a good film. For a few dollars more, as one of the best lines at the end of a film ever, where they're all where Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef have just wiped everybody out, and Clint Eastwood is going around counting up the bounty, and as he's counting up, he's going 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 8,000, 10,000, counting up all the bounties. You see, like, one of the guys, like, just sneaking around his back, and Lee Van Cleef, he's just, it is Lee Van Cleef, isn't it? Fucking hell. Yeah, fucking hell, it's Lee Van Cleef, yeah. What am I thinking? Yeah, and as he's adding off, like, Lee Van Cleef is, like, riding off into the distance because they've been working together, and he's said, look, Clint Eastwood's character can keep all the bounty, and somebody's sneaking up behind him, and he's just, and you think the guy's just about to shoot Clint Eastwood in the back, and Clint Eastwood just whips round and shoots him, and then Lee Van Cleef says, everything all right, boy? And Clint Eastwood comes back with the classic line, yeah, old man, I thought I had a problem with my adding. It's such a fucking good line, man. It's a great line. It's worth watching the whole film just for that fucking line. And then obviously The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is the last part of that trilogy. Well, they're not related, the different parts, but which has got one of the fucking best endings ever in out of any film I've ever seen. It's just the fucking tenseness of that scene at the end when the three of them are standing there, like in the circle, and the camera's just switching from their eyes to their guns, and it gets closer and closer and closer into their eyes, and the fucking music is going, and it's fucking brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant. Yeah, so anyway, that is that. So anyway, I was talking about that on, sorry, I just had some tea there. I was talking about that on Saturday, and nobody seemed to know the fucking reference of those three films, which is fucking, you know, I don't know. It's the fucking youth of today, isn't it? They just like, fucking, I'll just watch stuff on YouTube instead of watching these fucking, I'll watch somebody on YouTube fucking wank off, or just like wank off about how many fucking pairs of fucking trainers they've got, or how much money they've got, or unwrap some Lego. I'll do that instead of watch a film that has been culturally important for the last 40 or 50 years. I don't know what you young people are doing out there today. I don't know, when you could when you could be watching people dressed up as cowboys having a fake gunfight for cinema. You're watching people unwrapping Lego. I don't know. But it's a fucking good series of films, and I thoroughly was disappointed with a few young people in the audience who hadn't even seen it. And the only person who had, obviously, was Manco, because he was fucking named himself after the films, which was a bit weird. So I sort of like bonded with him a little bit over that, and then got back and listened to the new Liam Gallagher album on vinyl whilst having a few beers. That was my plan for the entire evening, to do that, and I succeeded in it. This week is going to be no easier than last week. Last week was a bit of a fucking slog, to be honest. As I said before, fucking going up to fucking Barrow in Furnace just nailed me, just fucked me up completely. And this week I'm in Swansea, Nottingham, Northampton, home gig at the Barrett's Snooker Club, and then Bolton, and then Hurst, wherever the fuck that is. I know I've done it before ages ago, because it's one of my mates, Frankie's gigs, who booked me for it for a couple of years ago, and it went. I remember the first time I ever did it must have been about 5 or 6 years ago, and I was fucking around, and Frankie was comparing, and he built. I don't know. He built me up as fucking. He's one of my really good mates, and he's really great. You're really gonna love him, and walked on it. But he kept saying the mates thing. He's really good mates. He's a really good friend of mine, and that. And I remember as I was walking up, going, just fucking deny all knowledge of it. Like, just ignore the fact that you know him and stuff like that. So I did that, and I said, I don't even know Frankie, to be honest. I don't know why he's going. I did it for a laugh, and it fucking just died, because Frankie had done such a good job, like, comparing it. Just fucking. And I started like fucking about fucking 6 feet under, and I had to like fucking slowly crawl my way out of the fucking grave I'd fucking dug for myself in the first fucking line of starting. It goes like that sometimes. It goes like that. You think, this would be a funny fucking opener or whatever, and no. That was not the case that night. Dear. Yeah, so some things like, I still get haunted about that. I'm still haunted a little bit. There's fucking loads of, right, this is one of the things that, that people do a lot of, in UK stand-up, anyway. In UK stand-up, what they'll do, they'll have a fucking bad gig, and then they'll quote Sarah Millican's law. Now, Sarah Millican, if you don't know people from abroad, people in the UK should do. She is quite a famous comedian, quite a big comedian in the UK, famous-wise, you know what I mean. And she apparently has a law that she abides by, which is by 11 o'clock the next morning after a gig, you either you forget about the gig, whether it was a good gig or a bad gig, you forget about the gig, and you move on to the next gig, right? Seems good, right? That works for her. But it's when other people quote, "Hey man, I live by Sarah Millican's law. I forget everything by 11. Really? Do you? Do you fucking live by that law, do you? Because I'm still haunted by gigs I did 7 years ago. I still wake up some mornings or I'll be walking around going, oh, fuck. There's a fucking cold shiver going down my fucking spine. And I just think, oh, fucking hell, Liverpool, I remember that fucker. Oh, still with me. It's part of my DNA now. That's it. But these people who fucking, I don't know how they can do it. How they must be a sociopath. Obviously, I'm not calling Sarah Millican a sociopath. But people who just fucking shut off, I live by Millicans. It's like people who quote famous people, isn't it? And then somehow they think it'll be like, you know, some of that gold dust will rub off on them. Isn't it? They'll use a quote that fucking, I don't know, Marilyn Monroe's used or something like that. If you, I don't even know if that quote was her, was it? That if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. That's what fucking every woman I've seen who has a fucking attitude problem post that fucker up. Every woman, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. I don't want you at your best, sweetheart. You're a cunt. You sound like a fucking utter cunt to me, you fucking self-obsessed bitch. But yeah, anyway. But there's loads of women who post that up. There's loads of blokes who post up fucking stuff by, you know, other people, don't they? Just to get away with fucking bad behaviour, isn't it? I don't know. If you can't cope with me when I'm spiking your drink, Bill Cosby. I don't know. You don't deserve me when I'm telling jokes. That was his philosophy. Oh, fucking hell, man. So they come across it, but I am still fucking, you know, it's people who have, I don't know, done about 3 gigs and then suddenly they're like, I'll just apply Millican's rule to this. No, you don't need to forget about that gig. You need to learn from that gig. That's what you need to do. That's what you can reach a certain stage, I think, and you know what you're doing. But if you're a fucking deluded fuck who doesn't know what the fuck, how to fucking write a joke, and then just 11 o'clock, 10:59, only 60 more seconds left of this biting pain until it's gone. I don't know how people do that. Just switch off. Oh, man. I'd be sitting there at 11 o'clock in the morning, counting down, going 10, 9, 8 seconds of this fucking shame. 7, 6, 5, 4 seconds left of this biting, horrendous pain I've got. 2, 1. Oh, no, it's not gone. It's still there. Oh. It's still there. You lied to me, Millican. I believed in your law, and you lied to me. But yeah, I still fucking... there's just a shudder every now and again where I think, oh, God, that was a fucking painful experience. I remember doing a gig fucking... it must be about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was organised, and I was the only comedian booked on, I think, which was awful anyway. But she pitched it as like, I think it was good money. But she said, you got half an hour to do. Everybody will be sitting down. And don't worry, I'll get them all sat down for you. And we'll sort it all out. And you just go on, you do your 30 minutes and that's it. And I was like, okay, that sounds all right. We'll do this. I got there and it was in a fucking massive dance hall that must have been the size, width-wise, it was about the size of a basketball court. So it must have been like, you imagine basketball courts next to each other. It must have been about 4 basketball courts, 5 basketball courts long, and a basketball court wide. So it was a fucking big old space. I got there, and they're all like swingers, not in the fucking way, not in the, hey, this is my wife, take a go on her, baby. But the sort of, like the old 60s fucking throwing each other, doing twirls and all that sort of shit. They were doing all that sort of shit. So, yeah. So I get there, and the woman who's running it is a lovely woman, and she hands me a radio mic, and I was like, okay, this could be tough. She said, there's the stage up there. And then she made an announcement, and people were fucking, they were going for it. People, they were going for it, swinging each other around, like, through the legs, fucking, it's like dirty fucking dancing for fucking OAPs. I carried a Zimmer frame. So it was like dirty dancing for OAPs, and they were fucking loving it. Then suddenly the music just goes zip and just stops. Everybody stops and looks, and they make an announcement and say, okay, everyone, stop enjoying yourselves. Never a good sign, is it? Stop enjoying yourselves. The comedian's here, finally here. I didn't realise I was fucking late. The comedian's finally here. Please welcome to the stage, Ben Briggs. That was my intro. So not only have I stopped them having their fun, I have apparently turned up late to stop their fun because I couldn't be fucked to get there. And so I emerge, and now I've got to make these people laugh who have stopped their fun. I've turned up late, and now I've got to make these people laugh. It was a fucking tough order. And so I go out behind the curtain, and they're all seated down, and you think this is going to be fucking great. Well, they're all seated, that's the main thing. But what they've done, they've put seats around the outside of the hall and a couple of tables. There must have been about like 150 people there, but it looked like there was about 20 because the hall was that fucking big. But they've sat them all, not in one area together, not anything like that, but just all around the hall. So I'm at one end of the hall on the stage with a fucking radio mic. So I decided to just jump off the stage and then just fucking looked for the youngest people in there and just concentrated on them because you just couldn't play. It was like literally like tennis. You'd have to go from one side to the other side to the other side like that. So I just played to one fucking select group who weren't fucking gurning at me. I did about 18 minutes and came off, and I was booked for half an hour. And the woman said, did you do your 30 minutes? And I went, yeah, I just answered. Oh, fucking hell, I remember that. I just answered, and I said, yeah, I thought the time went quick too. And I'd done fucking 18 minutes and just wanted to get out of there. Oh, dear. It was fucking painful, but she paid me. I managed to convince her I did that half an hour. She paid me and I fucked off, but Jesus. Even every now and again, that'll come back and I'll just, oh, fuck, I remember that feeling. I remember that feeling of being so close to those people and getting nothing, and then having a load of people behind me who were just staring at my back. And I could just feel their fucking eyes in my back. So that was that. Yeah. So that ain't going to be something I was going to forget at 11 o'clock the next day. Even today, 5-6 years later, even telling the story, I'm actually visually sweating. My palms have got fucking sweaty. like fucking Eminem just fucking talking about that story. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, what have I seen on the internet this week after that fucking horrendous? Jesus Christ, I'm still fucking sweating after telling that story. What time is it? 3:45, fucking hell, Benny boy. We ought to get a bit of a move on it. What time are we on? 24. Okay, one of the things I saw this week is a new account that's opened up on Twitter. It's called Fesshole, right? It's like at Fesshole, which I initially looked at it and I was like, this seems quite an interesting thing, where people are basically using Festhole, it says, to get some very dark confessions off their chest. So people like submit a form of like horrible things that they've done or anything like that, and then it's just posted up by the account Festhole. But some of them are quite funny. Oh no, that's horrendous. Like one of these was just like, I had a monster night out and I had a massive hangover over the next morning. Rather than calling in sick, I told work that someone had tried to mug me and I was shaken up a bit, so couldn't come in. I have no idea why I lied. Yeah, we've all done that. We've all fucking lied, like, in the past to get fucking time off work and shit like that, haven't they? Or just like you're hungover. But I saw one of these is, I got curious and stuck a carrot up my ass, as you would. Not in Sainsbury's, you wouldn't want to do that. Or Tesco's, would you? I got curious. I wonder what that carrot would feel like up my ass. It's up my ass. It feels like a carrot up my ass. Put that back. Then panicked and thought my parents would notice the missing carrot. Like you would. So returned it to the cupboard. We ate it for dinner that night. Some of these, right, I started reading through some of these and I was just like, some of these are just bullshit, man. And I don't know, it's just one of these bullshit. It just seems now like I'm just reading a bullshit account. Look, this is one on a time-old traditional story that has done the rounds in pubs and everything. This was submitted on today, 10:25 a.m. apparently. I was still living at home at the time and I had a massive anal sex session. A massive. Surely you just have anal sex, not a massive anal sex session with my girlfriend on the front room sofa while my parents wear out. It should be wear out. She shat a little bit on the sofa. As always happens, never do that if they've got one in the chamber, people. Always make sure that you check the chamber is clear. She shat a little bit on the sofa and it left a stain. When questioned by my parents, I blamed the dog and they couldn't, and that's as far as the first tweet goes, right? But this is like this is the old thing. There was a story that did the rounds when I was like fucking drinking in pubs and that, and it was like somebody fucked somebody on the sofa. They shat all over the sofa, blamed it on the dog, and then the parents had the dog put down. That's fucking, this is just like urban myth central. So I got really excited when I looked at this. I was like, this could be quite interesting. But most of it is either about shitting in a shower, there's a lot of shit and piss. I once shat in the Parmesan bin at Pizza Land whilst covering another branch's Christmas party. If you had a dicky tum over the Christmas period in the early 90s after a shit Christmas do at Pizza Land, it was definitely shitter than you imagine. Yeah, I'm not sure they're gonna, you put that Parmesan on there, don't you? And then, look, there's a shit in there. So all these stories are fucking, I get poo stuck up my fingernail, somebody's put that. There's a lot of shit. It's just like, there's a lot of shit, basically bullshit. I once bought a box of fruit gums, ate them, filled the empty box with gravel, then went back to the shop and cried till I got another box. This was in the early 80s. Okay, let it go. Let it go. I don't know. I know this is like meant to be a confession, like the equivalent of confessional without the fucking touching of children's private parts. Maybe this is the fucking future for the Catholic Church. Just do confession online like this. This could be it. It'd save them a fucking fortune in lawsuits in the future. In the fucking future. My goldfish wasn't quite dead, but I didn't want to deal with the dead body, so I flushed him down the loo anyway. Brutal. Sometimes I can't be bothered to use loo roll, and I just wash my ass in the sink. But then you got to clean the fucking hell. It just seems like people are just writing into this thing like, what is the most horrendous thing I can make up, and then I'll send it. And these people, and I'm reporting on it as well. I'm part of this problem. I've just realised it's fucking complete bullshit. Right, okay. Let's get on to this story. Right, woman sparks apartment fire by burning love letters. A woman scorned makes trouble. Who'd have ever thought that, fucker? Police in Lincoln, Nebraska said the woman left some of the burnt letters on the floor before taking a nap. She was a bit tired. When she woke up, the carpet was on fire. No shit. Police in Lincoln say 19-year-old woman sparked an apartment fire Monday by burning love letters for her ex in her bedroom. That's what they do. That's what you do, ladies, isn't it? Why not just rip them up? Put them in the recycling. No, they need to be burnt immediately. She then went on to another room to take a nap. Of course you would. Why would you put out the fire? Oh, I'm a lady. I can get away with that. That fire is not going to get out of control. Not as much as I am, anyway. Police say she woke a short time later to find the carpet on fire. Firefighters were able to extinguish the fire in minutes. That sums up fucking women. There, right there. I know it's sexist to say that. Hey, man, not all women start fires. No. But you would if you could get away with it. Oh, fucking hell. What time are we on? 31 minutes, people. I better get a wiggle on. That was episode 41 of the Ben Briggs podcast. I will be back on Saturday with the new shit, baby. With the new shit. Didn't have time today. You can like, subscribe, and review on Apple, Podbean, and SoundCloud, and various others. Have a good week, people. I've got a busy one this week, so I will be back with you on Saturday. Until then, have a great week, motherfuckers. Take care.